Black men and why they do not want to vote for Vice President Harris. Before I get started, though, I want to talk about two other topics. First of all, I want to just tell everyone that has listened to my videos, podcast, who's made comments, who shared it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful to you. And because of that, I was wondering if I should, name you guys like the tea sippers. And I got the idea because, Beyonce, she has the beehive. And I'm like, I can have the tea sippers, kind of like Lady T. Anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. But let me know what you all think. And then the other thing is that this episode was supposed to be live because it is a controversial topic. It is something that is right here in our face, and it's very important because we have less than 2 weeks before the election. I did want to hear folks' comments and maybe answer some questions because, in my opinion, it is important. But in any event, we had some technical difficulties, and here we are. We couldn't get it fixed, so I'm recording it instead. But the information that I had intended to say live is the same information. So anyway, now that that is out of the way, let's jump into the video. So again, the topic is why Black men are not voting for Kamala Harris. First thing off, I don't have a problem with Black men not voting for her, or any man for that matter, because that's your prerogative, that's your right. And as an American, you have the right to vote who you want to. The problem I have are the explanations, and I call excuses to justify why you don't want to vote for her. So with that being said, my thought is if you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a woman, I get it. Okay? I totally get it because that's your right. It may be misogynistic. It may be chauvinistic. It may be old-fashioned and archaic, but that's your right to do that. And nobody should be able to take that away from you. Now, the problem I have are all these reasons or explanations that it defies common sense, it defies intellect, and in fact, it insults my intelligence because you are trying to tell me you don't want to vote for this woman because maybe it's not natural. So that is, however, happened to be one excuse. So I have divided this topic into 3 segments to kind of make it easier for me to get through this. And so this hopefully can help undecided voters. Now, I will preface by saying I am not trying to change anybody's opinion or sway anybody one way or the other. What I do want to impart upon the viewers or impart upon you guys is that you should be aware of who you're voting for, whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. And lots of time when I have spoken to people, all they're doing is listening to sound bites. Like they don't know what's really happening. And those sound bites are great. And a lot of the candidates, they're banking on you listening to these sound bites and moving in the direction where these sound bites move you. Like, for instance, they call Kamala Harris the border czar. That is not her job. Come on. I mean, they're saying that she actually supports transgender inmates surgery. That is a Trump administration policy that was done in 2018. Another thing that he is saying is that she's soft on immigration. Well, that's not true either because a conservative member of Congress actually drafted one of the most conservative bills that will address immigration, and it was passed. It was done under the Trump administration. Trump actually rejected, and he rejected it under the auspices that he needed $25 billion for the wall. First thing with that is then he tell Mexico they were going to pay for it. So why do you need $25 billion of American tax planning money? And you said Mexico was going to pay for it. That's the first thing. So he rejected it, supposing that it didn't have that amount in there. But guess what? They put it in there. You know what he did? He actually went ahead and rejected again. And you know why? Because he said if he signed it, he won't have any talking points when it comes to running for election again. And that's what we see now. If you think about it, almost everything that comes out of Donald Trump's beak is about immigration. Nothing at all, except now he's talking about the blacks. Okay, I'm just saying, y'all heard him. He don't even give us the freaking decency of calling us Black Americans or African Americans. We are the blacks. I'm just saying. Anyway, so one of the excuses that I have heard from Black men why they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris is that it defies what's natural. It defies the natural order of things, and it defies tradition. So what I have been told specifically is that men have been taught that it is not natural for a woman to lead, and particularly lead a nation. And I say to that, that's BS. It's bull. I want to say more than that, but I'm trying to be polite, okay? And I'm not trying to get in trouble with YouTube, but it's bull. And the reason for that is that in the African American community, we have more single mothers raising children. And those children that they're raising are men and women. There are girls and boys who are going to grow up to be men and women, right? The first person that these children see and these single family household that are head by women, that first leader is a woman. So if a woman can raise a man and a woman to be an adult, that is a leader. Now, how is it that in and of itself does not defy nature? If you look at nature and tradition, particularly in our community, it is unnatural for women to raise children by themselves if there is a man that is capable of doing that. But you have so many Black men that have abandoned the home for whatever reason. That is not what we hear. But they have abandoned the home and they have left these women to raise the children by themselves. Now, check this out. Some of these single mothers, they work a job. Sometimes they have multiple jobs. They're taking care of the children on their own, and they might even be in school. And somehow with all of that, they're able to pay the bills, get the kids to school, get them to soccer practice, dance practice, and still look half decent. That is a leader, in my opinion. So the very first leader that most men see in our community are women. Okay? Second thing is when you have children, when they're these small little kids, their teachers are almost always women. So that is another leader. So to say that it defies nature, to say that it defies tradition, is bull. You cannot pick and choose what part of nature and tradition is going to work. Because for real, if you want to talk about tradition and what's natural, Black men need to be in the home with their children and their wives, not making babies out of wedlock and making multiple babies with multiple women, and you never sit down, settle down, and get married. That is not natural. But it happens all the time. And then a lot of Black men have excuses as to why they are doing this, to justify they're doing it. Then you have Black men who want to talk about single mothers and how bad they are and how bad off they are and how they can't raise Black men. And again, that's not the topic we're here about. But if that is indeed the case, guess what? You are not operating within your nature. You are not operating according to tradition. So don't pick and choose simply because it justifies your position or is comfortable for you at this time. It's just absolute unadulterated bull. And I'm just not buying it. Again, if you don't want to vote for her because she's a woman, then say that. Don't make up this bull excuse. Another thing that I've heard is that she's not Black. The biggest question about that, who the hell cares? Why the hell is that important that she's not Black? I mean, other than Barack Obama, who was biracial, we have never had a Black biracial contender who could actually possibly be in that seat. We've had other Black people. We've had what has been labeled as foundational Black Americans who have ran for office, but they never got to this point. We've had Jesse Jackson, we had Shirley Chisholm, we had Al Sharpton. I believe he ran for office. We had several Black people. We've even had what's his the doctor, I forgot his name, the one that was Secretary of Housing under Donald Trump's administration. He was Black. But none of those people were ever in a position to actually lead the country. They dropped out the race way early on. Kamala Harris is is a serious contender. And I'll just say this. I did not know the woman was biracial. I personally thought she was black. I never knew she was actually biracial and mixed with Indian until Trump brought that up at the National Association of Black Journalists. And just like he did this with Obama, nobody questioned Obama's nationality until Trump did that. And he started the birther movement. If you guys remember, nobody questioned him. Nobody. Everybody accepted that Barack Obama was born in Hawaii and that his father was African and left his mother. And that's where he got such a unique, different name. But we never questioned that until Donald Trump did that. That is the exact same thing that Donald Trump is doing with Kamala Harris. Nobody questioned her race until Donald Trump brought that to everybody's attention at the National Association of Black Journalists. And now everybody is on the fence about she's not admitting that she's black. Give me a damn break. Then I heard an older African-American gentleman who tried to justify that she's not admitting that she's black because she said that she has relatives that are Indian and they're Indian. She does. If you're asking this woman to choose between her black family and black ethnicity and heritage and her Indian, that's just not fair. It's not right. It's just not. But to pretend that it matters to you at this point, give me a damn break, because it was never an issue until Donald Trump made it an issue. But even more so, check this out. What the hell does it matter? We have never had anybody else who was anything other than a white man who was ever in this position. And then we had Hillary Clinton. That was it. So it doesn't really matter. Okay? The other thing that I've heard is that she didn't have a black man or black woman, I guess, but black man on her short list for VP. I want for any person that had an issue with that, tell me what presidential candidate had on their short list a black man or black woman. I am certain it's going to be really, really hard pressed to see that. Because to my knowledge, there has not been not one person running for this office that had a black man on their short list. Now, Donald Trump pretended that he wanted to have a few black men on his short list, but anybody that was paying attention could tell that that was just not going to happen. Okay? Anyway, so again, if that is a reason why you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris because she didn't bring a black man with her on the short list, that's BS too, because there's nobody else that has had that. You holding this woman to a different standard. That is misogynistic. I'm just saying. Then I was told that she's not qualified. And I asked, well, what are the qualifications? Well, the woman went to law school. She actually passed the bar, unlike what Trump said she did not. He said she didn't pass the bar. But she had to pass the bar in order to practice law. So that by itself is just stupid, okay? And then on top of everything else, she was the prosecuting attorney in California. She was the AG in California. She was in the Congress, and she was the VP. And I have asked black men, what else does this woman have to prove that she is qualified? Because almost every president that has come into that office have gone through the same path. They were almost always lawyers. They were always had some political backgrounds, and political history, and worked in politics. They're the exact same thing that she has. The only difference is that she's female. Now, Donald Trump has also tried to imply that she slept her way up to the top. He said that she puts out. A lot of people didn't hear that when he said that at the debate. He actually said that in his gobble up gibberish talk when he said he was talking about her race, but he said she puts out. Whether she puts out or not, it is not relevant, particularly considering Donald Trump's history with women. and having sexual relations with porn star while he is married. I mean, really, it's like the was it the kettle calling the pot black? Give me a break. This is BS. So if there's nothing else you can talk about, this woman is fully qualified. Okay. Another thing that I have heard that black men have said is that she has sentenced a lot of black men to prison. And this is just not true. As I keep saying and impressing upon anyone that will listen, please read. Don't just listen to sound bites. Okay. D.L. Hughley, a comedian, he actually spoke at the Democrat National Convention. He actually had to apologize to Kamala Harris because he was spreading that BS that she actually put away a lot of black people. And it's just not true. But I'm going to say this to you guys. She's a prosecuting attorney. That means she put away people who commit crime. And that's just not, she didn't do what a lot of people are accusing her of doing. But the other thing that I hope folks will listen to, Donald Trump and his cronies, they're putting out a whole lot of ads saying that she's soft on crime. So how is it in one breath she's soft on crime, but in the next breath she is putting away a lot of black men? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Read. This stuff is readily available. You can read up about her record. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to me, but definitely don't listen to all the folks that are just guying and vying for your vote. I'm not vying. I'm not running for office. I just want to impress upon you the importance of being knowledgeable before you vote. I've also heard that a lot of black men think that, will say that they made a lot of money under Trump. I have asked all these black men that have said this to me, how much money did you make under Trump versus under Obama and versus under Biden's administration? And nobody seemed to know. One person told me that a lot of people were able to tap into their home equity, so get a HELOC. Well, that's not money. You didn't make money. What you were able to do is access the equity in your home because the interest rates were low, and also because it was a seller's market. If you guys remember, on the Trump administration, those houses, the price of houses were going up. But a HELOC is a loan. That is not money that you can just spend. You're not making money. I heard that a lot of black men said they had more money under Trump because of the PPP loan. Well, guess what? That PPP loan came about because the economy sucked. If you guys remember, under Trump's administration, we were in COVID. Unemployment was at an all-time high. If you remember, businesses were going out of business. They were falling and there are companies that are no longer existing because of what COVID did. People did not work during COVID. What we are seeing now with these high prices and stuff, this is a continuation of what happened under Trump's administration. When Trump was in office, he inherited a very good economy from Obama. But he screwed it up because of the way that he handled COVID. And so if you made any money, extra money, I'm just curious how. What I will say, what has happened as a result of Trump, is that there are a lot more entrepreneurs, perhaps. There are a lot of more people that are doing what's called gig economy. That was created under Trump because people still had bills to pay. They still had to eat. But if you remember, even during COVID, prices skyrocketed. Unemployment was very, very high, but the price of food was increasing. I mean, you don't have to go that far to remember that, unless you were not here or in another part of the world during COVID. We did not do well under Trump's administration, especially his handling of COVID. So when you got these PPP loan and the stimulus check, that was not money, that you really earned. It was done to jumpstart the economy. That's what it was used for, because the economy was stinking. If you remember, they were talking about we were going to have a recession. So we were seeing the aftermath of that. And then a lot of folks keep trying to pretend that this is Harris's administration. This is not her administration. This is Biden's administration. And then I hear Black men saying that she could be telling Biden what to do for Black people, in particular Black men. You don't know what this woman is telling him. You don't know what this woman can do. Her powers are very, very limited. Not only is it limited by what the president will allow her to do, but it's also limited by Congress. So to keep saying all this stuff and not have any proof of evidence, it's just, to me, it just shows that you're either ignorant and you are okay with being ignorant, or you are trying to explain why you're misogynistic. And quite frankly, you don't really have to do that. You know, if you just don't want to vote for it, then don't. But don't insult people's intelligence by pretending that you are more wealthier under Trump's administration. Because for the most part, you were not. The people that were wealthy were the people that were already wealthy. Because Black men have made such a stink about their desire not to vote for her, she has created a plan specific for Black men. And I have heard Black men bitch about how this plan is still not good enough. Some have said that this plan is too late, is too little too late. To me, it says that even when you have asked for something and someone has given it to you, you still ain't grateful for it. It reminds me of one of Jill Scott's songs when she said, it's called Hate, You Can Hate on Me. That's what it sounds like. Like, no matter what I give you, it ain't going to be enough. But in that same premise, I want to ask these Black men who think that this plan ain't good enough and that it's too little too late. I'm just curious, how many presidential candidates do you know? It didn't even got to be presidential candidates. How about local candidates? How many do you know that has specifically come up with a plan about what they're going to do for you specifically? I just want to know, because I don't think there is not one. And if I'm wrong, I'm okay with being wrong. I don't know everything, but please put it down in the chat because I want to know. I mean, the audacity of saying that it's too little too late. Or I've heard some say that this plan is not specific enough for Black men because other people could benefit from it. Give me a break. Are you kidding me? I mean, one of the plans is saying that she is going to give loans to small businesses, and some of which I believe are going to be forgivable. Like, you won't have to pay it back. Then she talked about the farmers, you know, Black farmers, and we know their history in this country. But she was talking about providing loans and support and resources for Black farmers. That is something that the Black farmers have been fighting for a very, very, very long time. And for her to do that, that's way better than what Trump has offered. That's way better than anyone has offered. But I'm just curious, who else has offered anything that directly says we're doing this for Black men? One of the things she wants to offer is some type of plan concerning like hypertension, diabetes, which is something that Black men tend to have more often than any other group. Why is this something you don't want? Why is this a problem, particularly since your boy Donald Trump ain't offering it? I'm just saying. That just sounds like some bull to me. And it sounds like another excuse. So I just don't quite understand it. It just doesn't make any sense. One of the things that I think, since Black men keep fussing and bitching about what plan she's offered is not good enough, I'm just curious why Black men have not gone to the United States Supreme Court and asked for this type of support. There was a YouTuber named Lady Boulay who presented this question or this issue. Why is it that Black men have not gotten together and petitioned the Supreme Court to address these issues and concerns? Now, according to Lady Boulay, which I think she got this information from another YouTuber, but according to her, prior to Loving versus Virginia, Black men petitioned the United States Supreme Court to have the right to marry white women. It wasn't until Loving versus Virginia that the law of the land made it legal for Black people to marry white and vice versa. And if Black men could go to the United States Supreme Court to ask for the law to be changed concerning that particular issue, why is it that Black men have not petitioned the court concerning these other issues, instead of waiting to address them in such a loud voice when a woman is trying to run for office? Again, I think this is some BS. I think it's just an excuse, and again, not a very good excuse, but I think you're damn ungrateful. Bottom line, I just think again, if you don't want to vote for the woman, don't vote for her, but don't make an excuse. It's infuriating, quite frankly, to think that this is something we should believe.